Hola, buenos dias. Good morning. My name is Ida Jones, and my pronouns are she and her. I serve gratefully as your president of your board of trustees. We are glad you're here with us at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Avenue Church campus. Welcome to everyone on our online church campus, including yours truly. And welcome to everyone joining us later on Facebook or YouTube. We're so glad you can be part of today's service at a time that works for you and your schedule and needs. We are one congregation in many places. Our Alluvial Avenue campus sits on the traditional homeland of the Yokuts people. I'm joining you from our online campus in Elk Grove, and my home sits on the traditional land of the Miwok people. Learning the history of the first stewards of the land is one way of honoring them. But remember, indigenous people are not relics of the past. They are still here, including some of us this morning. And they continue to demonstrate their talents and gifts amidst a backdrop of ongoing colonization and oppression. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno has some differences from most churches in Fresno. This doesn't make us better than other churches, but it does mean we approach some things differently. We are not a specifically Christian congregation, nor do we find wisdom or guidance from one key spiritual teacher or one sacred scripture. That gives us the freedom to welcome you no matter your spiritual background or religious beliefs. A free and responsible search for truth is a central part of Unitarian Universalism. Know, too, that no matter your culture of origin, you are welcome here. Your neurodiversity is welcome here. You are welcome no matter your disabilities, level of formal education, or amount of money in your bank account. Those of us who are part of the LGBTQIA+ community are welcome here. Our welcome extends to include all those with or without documentation. No one is illegal at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Whether you came here by yourself or with someone else, you are welcome here. All are welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our online campus and want your joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude included in today's service, just text it to us, 559-337-3772. Be sure to include in your text your name so we know who you are. You can also type it into the chat box. For our time of greeting, we're going to shake it up a bit. If you are on our online campus, share in the chat box something you enjoy about the morning time. If you are in our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary, we challenge you to say good morning to one or two people you haven't met before. Let's take a moment to say buenos dias and greet one another.
Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo. My name is Tim. My pronouns are he, him, and I serve gratefully as minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Fresno, California. Today, our service is going to explore the spiritual practice of deep listening. Deep listening is our monthly worship theme for all of October. The prelude that we're going to hear this morning will come back to us in the sermon and then return again as an anthem. So this is just a taste of the dense lyrics as well as the illuminating lyrics of Leonard Cohen. Let's allow the sound of the tingsha to take us to that place where we open to hear.
The birds they sang at the break of day start again. I heard them say, don't dwell on what has passed away or what is yet to be. Yeah, the wars, they will be fought again. The holy dove, she will be caught again, bought and sold and bought again. The dove is never free. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. You can add up the parts, you won't have the sum. You can strike up the march, there is no drum. Every heart it will come, but like a refugee. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
Hola. Buenos días. Soy Laura y mis pronombres son ella. Good morning. I'm Laura and my pronouns are she, her. I serve gratefully as a member of our pastoral care team. If you are on our virtual campus and have a candle or chalice, bring it close as we'll be lighting it soon. The pastoral care team works to recruit and coordinate volunteers from the entire church community to provide short-term, confidential help to church members in need. Team members and volunteers are available to anyone who may feel isolated or disconnected for any reason, or who may have experienced a challenge that requires the help of others. Our emphasis is on providing temporary, short-term care, such as providing meals, occasional rides, or simply lending a supportive ear. Our mission also includes maintaining caring contact with our respected elders and those experiencing more long-term challenges. I joined the team during a pastoral care Sunday just like this one. Reverend Tim's sermon that day touched on his experiences working at a retirement home as a young man. When someone was ill or injured, Tim said, the other residents would spring into action. They sent cards, they visited and talked with the person, and they brought them delicious food from the deli down the street. Tim noticed how this kind of caring, open-hearted behavior didn't only help the person who was ill, it strengthened the entire community. I was profoundly moved by this insight. I thought, I want to do that. Immediately after the service, I approached the pastoral care table in the courtyard and joined the team. I've been a member ever since. I take great pleasure and satisfaction in the thought that the cards I send out help build and strengthen our community here at UUCF. In that spirit, please light your candle or chalice at home while Jerry, Joseph, Steve, Judith, Betty, and Betty from our pastoral care team kindle the flame in our Alluvial Avenue chalice. Let us rise now in body or spirit and join in singing our song of praise, Heart Wide Open.
You've got to keep your heart wide open, though the waves want to push you around. You've got to keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open, though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. We've got to keep our hearts wide open, though the waves want to push us around. We've got to keep our hearts wide open till our faith brings us back to solid ground.
I invite us to remain standing as we say together the words of our mission. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated.
Good morning. I am Diana Ingram. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve proudly as a member of our worship team. I'd like to share an ancient story whose author is unknown. A water bearer had 2 large pots hung on each end of a pole, which he carried across his neck. One of the pots had a small crack in it, and while the other pot was perfect. The perfect pot delivered a full load of water at the end of the walk from the stream of the water to the bearer's home. But the cracked pot arrived only half full. This went on daily, with the bearer delivering only 1.5 pots full of water to their house. Now, of course, the perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, perfect for the task for which it was made. But the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its imperfection and miserable that it was unable to accomplish only half of what had been made to do. After a long time of what it perceived to be a bitter failure, the cracked pot spoke to the water bearer one day by the stream. "I am ashamed of myself, and I want to apologize to you." The bearer asked, "Why? What are you ashamed of?" The pot replied, "For a long time I have been unable to deliver only but half of my load because of the crack in my side, and it causes water to leak out all the way back to your house. Because of my flaws, you do not get full value for your efforts." Well, the water bearer felt sorry for this old cracked pot, and in his compassion said, "As we return to the house, I want you to notice what you see along the path." As they went up the hill, the old cracked pot did take notice of the sun warming beautiful flowers on either side of the path, and this cheered him somewhat. But at the end of the trail, it still felt sad because it had leaked out half of its load, and so again it apologized to the bearer for its failure. The bearer said to the pot, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? That's because I know that a part of you has a crack in it, and I took advantage of it. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back from the stream, you have watered them. For many years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers and give lovely bouquets to my neighbors, without you being just the way you are. We would not have this beauty to share with others." The end.
With the vibrations of that ancient teaching tale resonating in our hearts, we are going to sing our young folks off to their spirit explorations. So young folks, Veronica in the blue t-shirt waving her arms, you want to head there to those doors. Let's sing.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
So I invite us to just take in a breath, breathing in peace, breathing out love. And again, just settle into your seat as you breathe in peace. We breathe out love. One more time together. We breathe in that promise of peace into every cell in our bodies. We transform it to love. We breathe out love. As we continue breathing together, knowing that this place is made holy by our presence, just as we are, allow that breath in your imagination to carry you back over the last week, the last 7 days. I know For some of us, it was a hard week with so much beauty in it as well. Others of us, it was a joyful week. I know for all of us, it was a hot week. And as we breathe into what has been, question, was there a moment in the last week when you responded to someone with kindness? And was there a moment in the last week when someone responded to you with kindness? Each week we really do create space to lift up whatever is moving in our hearts and minds, whatever sorrows, joys, gratitudes, or concerns. Today we have two. Paula Siegel is feeling joyful. I found a CD of a church service recorded in May of 2008, and it featured members over 75. Got to hear inspiring words from Saul Eskin, Bill Murphy, Sam Zutler, and Shirley Valet, Joe Fox, Annadelle Flint, and Bernadette Siegel. If you have a chance, I recommend getting a copy. We have been an amazing church, says Paula, for a long, long time. And thank you to our elders. Laurie is asking for energy and healing for Robin Carlson, who has given so much energy and healing to others. So please hold Robin in our thoughts, in our prayers as she faces her health struggles. This week was a moment of passage for a beloved family in this congregation and a passing of a beloved member of this congregation. On Friday, our dear Saul Eskin passed into the mysteries of death, surrounded with so much love from his family. Just the previous week, Saul celebrated his 95th birthday. Saul leaves us just 6 months after the passing of Babs. And so today we hold the Eskin family, some of whom are with us today. You are in our thoughts. You are in our prayers. We celebrate the pillar of this church that Saul has been for decades, Bab was for decades. And so we honor the long and meaningful life of Saul Eskin. We remember, too, our beloveds, those unable to be with us because of challenges to health. We hold Donna Z in our thoughts. Donna will have a heart procedure this week, tomorrow, so please keep her in your prayers. We hold Sam Z as well as he faces his own health challenges, but his smile is still bright. Andrew L., who is with us today as you continue your struggle with cancer. We think of Armin B., Bev F., Glenda R., and Pat M. Reaching beyond our own congregation, we mark this first anniversary of the murderous October 7th Hamas attack on Israel, the loss of life and the taking of hostages. We grieve also the ongoing death and destruction, the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza, the attacks on Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, and the expansion of the war into Lebanon, where more civilians are dying. Also today, we rage at the jury's decision and the lack of justice and accountability in the savage beating death of Tyree Nichols by 3 Memphis police officers during a routine traffic stop. Black Lives Matter. We also hold in our hearts all those impacted by Hurricane Helene's catastrophic impact in multiple states in this time of living in climate change. And so, for all that we've mentioned, for everything that's moving in your own heart, your own mind, we light our candle of community. It burns also for those who have no one to remember them on this morning, no one to speak their name with gentleness or love. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. Our musical meditation is beloved in the Jewish tradition. Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, ended at nightfall on Friday, and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, begins at nightfall this upcoming Saturday. Alice and Umberto will introduce us to the melody and the words, singing it through once so that we can hear it, and then we will sing it 3 times together. So first, a demo.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are.
Hi, Ida Jones again. Our reading is an excerpt from historian Howard Zinn's essay, A Marvelous Victory. There is a tendency to think that what we see in the present moment will continue. We forget how often we have been astonished by the sudden crumbling of institutions, by extraordinary changes in people's thoughts, by unexpected eruptions of rebellion against tyrannies, by the quick collapse of systems of power that seemed invincible. What leaps out from the history of the past 100 years is its utter unpredictability. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act, in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents. And to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory.
Is itself a marvelous victory. May it be so. We're going to sing a song that we haven't done a whole lot of lately, so for some of us who are newer to the church, this might be the first time you hear it, but you'll be able to pick it up pretty quickly. And thinking back to the decades and decades in this church, that this song, this hymn was sung. And so I invite us to rise as we're able, learn to fly. Please be seated. Today's sermon topic on this Pastoral Care Sunday was selected by longtime church member Gib Bruff. She was the winner of the Pick the Sermon Topic at our church's auction. Gib asked me to explore Leonard Cohen's song, Anthem, and specifically these compelling lyrics. Ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. This seems especially appropriate as the worship theme for the month is the practice of deep listening. So today we take a deep listen to the lyrics of Leonard Cohen. Allison will sing the song at the end of today's sermon, so even if you aren't familiar with it, by the end of this morning you will hear it. I was raised by a perfectionist to be a perfectionist. My father was a good and decent person, but he was also the product of his time and of the circumstances in which he was raised. The scarcity of food and other necessities of daily life brought on by the Great Depression created in him a strong drive for stability and success. The pressure that was on my father as the first in his family to go to college created an expectation to excel. For him, perfection was the only option, and he extended that expectation to his children. As his son, perfection was my only option. In his eyes, an A- was not enough. It needed to be an A or it didn't count. It wasn't enough to be part of the debate team. If you didn't win, it was meaningless. The attempt to do anything was meaningless without the subsequent success. Perfection was the only way. And I can see a few folks nodding where that resonates. My dad mellowed with age and relaxed into a more tender, more understanding perspective. But not so much while I was growing up. In childhood, perfection is what gave worthiness. Worthiness was earned. My childhood had long ended when I stumbled onto Unitarian Universalism and the core belief that each individual person had inherent worthiness just by nature of being alive. Our worthiness wasn't earned. We didn't have to do something to get it. It wasn't a gift offered to a special few who excelled in a certain way. Unitarian Universalism teaches that each of us has inherent worthiness. We are loved just as we are. Now, even though most of us have room for improvement, even though most of us at some time are unskillful in word or action, we are loved just as we are. We are loved just as we are. It was in a Unitarian Universalist congregation that I first heard the opening lines of Mary Oliver's poem, Wild Geese. It was during a Sunday service when in the sermon, the minister quoted these words, "You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves." I burst into tears. Here was a poet. Here was a minister. Here was a religion telling me you do not have to be good. In other words, it's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to be just you. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. In other words, you are not a miserable sinner. You don't need to do anything to earn your worthiness. You don't need to get mired down in guilt, in shame, and self-criticism for being imperfect. But rather, you only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. In other words, you just need to be who you already are. Someone with a tender heart who yearns to offer love to others, who yearns to make the world a better place. You already know how to be kind and compassionate. You'll do it imperfectly, but do it anyway. Those few sentences of Mary Oliver blew my mind and opened my heart and forever changed my perspective. In good old religious language, those few sentences saved me. I was thinking about that experience as I listened this week to the song Anthem by Leonard Cohen, as I listened to these lyrics that Allison is going to sing in just a few minutes. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. In other words, stop trying to do things perfectly. Do what you can. Yes, you have flaws, but your flaws are not your identity. Everything has flaws. When we accept that, yet still do something kind or liberating, when we ring those bells, light comes into us, hope comes into our heart once more. Singer and songwriter Leonard Cohen wrote these lyrics in 1992 for an album tellingly titled The Future. The Future. The Future. Right now, we are thinking a lot about the future, aren't we? The future of democracy, the future of our planet, the future of Gaza, the future of Israel, the future of the Middle East, the future of Ukraine, the future of healthcare, the future of ever-present gun violence, the future with diminishing rights for women, the future being created by a radicalized Supreme Court, the future for trans and non-binary people, the future shaped by AI, the future our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren will inherit. As a friend said to me last week, thoughts about the future are keeping me up at night. Thoughts about the future stress me out, weigh me down, and tear me apart. Anybody here relate to that? Okay. Journalist Cassie Werber in the online newsletter Quark quotes these observations about the future from the late Leonard Cohen. Cohen said, quote, "The future is no excuse for an abdication of your own personal responsibilities towards yourself and your love. Ring the bells that still can ring. Maybe they're few and far between, but you can find them." This situation does not expect a solution of perfection. This is not a place where you make things perfect. neither in your marriage, nor your work, nor your love of God, nor your love of family or country. The thing is imperfect. Everything is imperfect. There is a crack in everything that you can put together. Physical objects, mental objects, constructions of any kind. But the cracks, that's where the light gets in, and that's where the resurrection is. It is with the confrontation with the brokenness of things. It is with the confrontation of the brokenness of things. And so many things feel broken right now, don't they? But these cracks, these flaws, are places where the light might get in. They're opportunities for the love to get in. They are how the connection to something bigger than ourself might get in. Sometimes things need to break down in order to be rebuilt into something new. Sometimes things need to break down, to break apart, in order to build something new. Think about those fears we have for the future. Those fears that keep my friend up at night. The fears that keep some of us up at night. Listen to how Leonard Cohen names them, names the fears, names what it feels like in our present reality. It's almost like he was here right now writing these words. As he writes, and as Allison will soon sing, the wars, they will be fought again. The holy dove, she will be caught again, bought and sold and bought again. The dove is never free. We asked for signs. The signs were sent. The birth betrayed. The marriage spent. Yeah, the widowhood of every government. The widowhood of every government. Signs for all to see. I can run no more with the lawless crowd, while the killers in high places say their prayers out loud. Dear ones, I just think of the next mass shooting in a school, and they're all going to say, my thoughts and prayers are with them, while the killers in high places say their prayers out loud. But they've summoned up a thundercloud. And just when it all feels hopeless, Leonard Cohen zings us, reminds us that we are not helpless. And he writes, ring the bells that can still ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. I think of that crack in everything in the context of the reading that Ida shared earlier, the words by Howard Zinn. He writes, there is a tendency to think that what we see in the present moment will continue. We forget how often we have been astonished by the sudden crumbling of institutions, by extraordinary changes in people's thoughts, by unexpected eruptions of rebellion against tyrannies, by the quick collapse of systems of power that seemed invincible. What leaps out from the history of the past 100 years is its utter unpredictability. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. But if we remember those times and places, and there have been so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of the world in a different direction. And if we do act in however a small way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of present moments. And to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. To live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. I love that, a marvelous victory. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to live now with strength and tenderness, with compassion and empathy, with kindness and awareness, with realism and dreams, with creativity and so much flexibility, with all our worthiness and all our imperfection. We are called to live now in community with hearts wide open. As Leonard Cohen declares, every heart to love will come. Will you say that with me, please? Every heart to love will come. And let's continue. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Dear ones, may we remember, even if things do crack wide open, that's how the love gets in. That's how the light gets in. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
The birds they sing at the break of day start again. I heard them say, don't dwell on what has passed away or what is yet to be. Yeah, the wars, they will be fought again. The holy dove, she will be caught again. Bought and sold and bought again. The dove is never free. Ring the bells that
Again, I'm Diane Ingram. My pronouns are she and her. Can you hear me? The scale of the destruction in the wake of Hurricane Helene has been utterly devastating to many communities in the southeastern United States. Some Unitarian Universalist congregations have been seriously impacted, and others are still trying to assess the damage. You can help support Unitarian Universalists and their communities as they recover from this storm by giving generously to the UUA's Disaster Relief Fund. Every dollar raised in this special collection will go directly to the National Unitarian Universalist Disaster Relief Fund. Our donations join with those from around the country to become grants to Unitarian Universalist, their congregations, and their communities. All gifts granted in the course of this immediate crisis response will be extended directly to impacted communities. Our hearts are with everyone struggling to get through these days and begin recovery efforts, especially our siblings in the LGBTQIA plus BIPOC communities who have consistently been the least supported by local institutions. In that spirit, let's join in our words of offering, led by Tim.
If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Si no somos nosotros, entonces ¿quién? Si no con corazones abiertos, entonces ¿qué? Si no es ahora, entonces ¿cuándo? Si no es aquí, entonces ¿dónde? Si no damos generosamente, entonces ¿cómo? Si no somos nosotros, entonces ¿quién?
As the basket is passed in our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary, we do all have an opportunity to donate electronically the special offering for Unitarian Universalist congregations and individuals impacted by Hurricane Helene will be gratefully received.
I am so glad to have been here with you this morning. Coming to church always lifts my spirits and reaffirms my conviction that this is the faith community that I am called to serve. If you feel similarly called, please visit us at the Pastoral Care Table in the courtyard, or indicate an interest in the chat box on our virtual campus. As we prepare to end our service and enter into the afternoon, please join us in our chalice extinguishing words, led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
So just a few quick reminders before we end the service. Cecily is our coordinator of community life, so if you are new or newish to the congregation, she is your go-to person to help get connected. Speaking about connected, one of the ways to get connected is coffee hour. Because it is so darn hot out there, we are going to have coffee hour in the air conditioning, which means we're going to need some help with folks bringing in tables and rearranging chairs before we can have our boiling hot coffee. So a couple other things. Outside in the courtyard, though, it is our Get Involved Fair. So there are tables set up with folks from many different teams and committees. So once you've helped set up, definitely check out the tables and then come in for the air conditioning. Couple other updates. As you can see here, our Storm of Good Trouble, You the Vote. We have now had over 6,000 letters and postcards written and mailed to voters in swing states, urging them to vote. Like we say in here, we're not going to tell you how to vote, just vote your Unitarian Universalist values. And there is a table outside, and I know. There's a table outside. Lori will be there, and you can get still more postcards and letters if you want to be part of the last-minute push. Also, October 17th at 6 p.m., I'm inviting you to join me for this justice event. I have heard over and over members of the congregation saying we wish we had a relationship with the church community in South Fresno. Well, dear ones, you've said you wish you had it. We now have one to offer. The folks at St. Anthony Mary Claret Church are living along a road that there have been multiple accidents because there is no correct protection for people looking to cross the street. One of the town's officials even said, we're going to do nothing about this until someone is killed. Now, that's what they said. So the folks at St. Anthony Mary Claret Church are asking us to come on Thursday, October 17th at 6 p.m. They are inviting some elected officials to be there, and we need to show the community that we stand with them. We're more than just words, but we got to be boots on the ground. So, and if you can't drive at night, let Steve or someone at the social justice table know, and we'll figure out how to get you there, because we need you there. Last thing I'm going to remind you about, October 20th, after the service, in person and on Zoom, it will be our fall congregational meeting. We will need to have a quorum, so we hope you will join us. It will be a fast meeting, but you'll have an update on the fiscal health of the church. Last thing I do, and this is fun, we'd like to invite folks who are here for the first, second, or third time to rise for just a moment. We're not doing it to embarrass you. We're genuinely glad you chose to be here on this morning. So oh, look at that, they're already up. Hooray, 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 hooray. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them for our closing words. If you came with someone, feel free to hold hands. If not, just place your hands over your hearts. Our closing words are adapted from a quote by L.R. Nost. She is an author, activist, and founder of a children's advocacy group. She says, "Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break. So go, Love intentionally, extravagantly, and unconditionally. The broken world waits for the light that is you. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Let's sing.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go in peace.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.